This tutorial is for the Inspired Bloggers Network, and it is on how to make the most, how to get the most of your stock photography vector downloads. I use dollarphotoclub.com for most of my stock photography needs, and when I'm looking for a vector file, um, most of them are going to come in a package that includes both of the Illustrator file, the source file, and a completed JPEG file. And now your JPEG files do not have transparent backgrounds, and you need to have access to Illustrator or another similar level program in order to open these EPS or Illustrator files to export these out onto a transparent background. You can see what types of formats are included. Here it says format zip archive AI/EPS. That's the source file that you can open within Illustrator. Then it says plus JPEG, and so the JPEG, you would just basically get this image as you see it here, one image, one file with all 16 flowers on it. I've already downloaded this, and I'm going to, I have it open here in Illustrator. And the first thing that I'm going to cover is just how to export the image out onto a transparent background. I do have this other file, which is just one single image instead of 16 images on one picture. And so one thing that you have to look at when you need to export a file out to a transparent background is you have to make sure that they don't have a background turned on. Here in the layers panel you can see that there is a white background here, and so even when I go export it, even if I select transparent background, it's not going to work because there is a white layer here. So I'm going to turn that white layer off. That's the only one. And I'm going to go to File, Export. I'm going to make sure it's Save As Type PNG because that's what's going to retain the transparency. And I'm going to name my file. And then I'm going to hit Export. And you can see the black and white or the gray and white checked here. It says background color, transparent, resolution high at 300, and that is default for any of your print projects. So I always try to make sure that all images are exported out at 300 dots per inches. And then I'm going to hit OK, and that just exports that file out. And so now I have a file. The cherry tree is on a transparent layer, so I can use that for different ads or graphics or whatever I want to use it for. Okay, so that's done. I'm going to close that. So this file here has the 16 flowers on one image. Now the next part of the post was about changing the color of an object within it, and so you can see you have the layers panel up over here to your right, and this artist did a good job at organizing his layers. If you don't see that layers panel, you can hit F7 and that will bring up your layers panel. Now you can either select the object that you want to work with by coming over here, selecting it in the layers panel. It's going to highlight that really dark pink flower, or you could use the selection tool over here. Now you have two arrows. One is the selection tool, and that's going to, when you click on an object, it's going to select that whole group that belongs to that object. So like this flower here, it selects all 5 petals within that group, and then I can shift click to pick up the leaves for that group. Now the arrow next to it is the direct selection tool, and that lets me select just one object at a time. So if you need to get very detailed with what you're selecting. What I'm going to do is we're going to show you just how to change the color of a layer. So I'm in the hot pink petal flower layer there. So you can drill down and select just the object that you want. You have your color blocks over here, and you have them up here up top. So whichever one you want to work with. The one on the left up top is the fill, and so you can just go in and select whatever color you'd like. So now I'm going to make it an actual red, since I believe that's what they are most of the time that I see in graphics. I don't know. I don't live in Japan. I've never seen a cherry tree blossom. I don't know. East Texas, we got deer. So once you have that selected, you can change the fill color. You can change the stroke if you wanted to. This is the stroke box. And you can increase the stroke style if you needed a heavy stroke there. Okay. Once you have that done, if you want to just export that one single image out of the 16, you can click on it, and then you can hit Control Alt Shift 3. It's a 4-key combo, Control Alt Shift 3, and that hides all of the other objects on that artboard. And then you can go to File, Export, and just walk back through exporting that out, and then you'll have an image of just that one object. If you want to crop out the other area, you can go to Object, Artboards, Fit to Selected Art, and then you can go to File, Export. Okay, now to turn on the other objects, you hit Control Alt 3, and there they all are. Okay, now the next process was about setting an object to black and white for like a line art drawing for a coloring page. So I'm just going to leave my artboard selected to that one flower right now. That's what I'm going to work on, and I'm just going to go and set that flower layer to white. And then I had my stroke up heavy on 4 a while ago while I was showing y'all what it can do. So I turn that down to 3, and I'm going to turn the inside down to 2. And so then you can just go back through and export that out, and then you now have an image that is a black and white line art that you can use in coloring pages or whatever you would like to use it for. You can also set it to have no fill, so that just the stroke of the object, it would work like a stamp, so to speak. Okay, well that's what I've got for you today. I hope y'all learned something. If y'all have some tips for me, maybe I was doing something incorrectly. I am self-taught, so I sometimes miss things, and I'm always looking for ways to learn. Please let me know if there's a better way that we can get this accomplished. Have a good night.